Boys,
Dude,
Stop it.
look at ya.
what's up? Look at y'all, man. How are you guys?
Hey, friend.
Good, good.
It's so good to see you.
Good. Good to see y'all, man. I'm excited. I love what y'all do, man. This is great.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
thanks,
that's
man.
yeah, we love what you do, so this works out well.
We should do this more often.
We
Mutual
should do it more
appreciation.
often.
Hells yeah. Are you in New York?
Yeah. We're in Rochester, which is like northwest New York. So
How was the
we
show last
played. It
night?
was great. We were in New York City. We played the Beacon Theater, which is like
I've been there.
really. Yeah. Okay.
I have, yeah. So Taking Back Sunday there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I feel like the craziest thing about this whole tour that we're doing with the Day to Remember is like bands like us don't play places like that. You know what I mean? Just normally. And the same thing with the Ryman in Nashville, Chicago theaters coming up. So a lot of like interesting venues, but it's so cool. Like looking at the wall and seeing like Steely Dan sold it out like 65 times. The Allman Brothers
Wow.
like 235 times. It's just like, dude, what are we doing here, man? So.
That's sick though.
It's cool, yeah. We're
In good
loving it, man.
company.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. Like I didn't even see it. I think Britton pointed out to me, but there's an elevator. It's like really small, kind of sketchy. But there are so many people that there's like letter or signatures all over the wall
Oh yeah.
of people that have been in there, and then there's a whole thing of pictures of people, and it's like Will Smith and like all of these like actors and musicians and like just a bunch of famous people in this
Yeah.
little tiny elevator. So it's crazy, man.
That's you too now. You're one of
Yeah.
those. You're one of those people in,
How about
in
it?
the future. They're like, Cody was here too.
Yeah, they're like, who's that guy? Oh yeah, wait for it. The
It
one
must
time they were there.
it must be sick though, like after such you guys have had like a real good career as like in the metalcore community and stuff and to
Yeah,
be able to step outside and do something completely different in completely different venues, and it still looks like it's going super well. Like the people are just
yeah,
flocking in. It must be real nice to know that you can do that sort of stuff as well.
yeah, for sure. I think that was like kind of the goal of the whole thing is like I mean, even just back to like doing the Stripped album, like we put out that first song in 2018 and like we had no idea if people were gonna like it or not. And it was almost just an experiment. And then that was Johnny Cash, which ended up being like it's more like success wise, it like is streamed higher than the actual song on the record. So I was like, okay,
I'm
well,
partly
and
to do
then
with that.
Yeah.
But I
let's
was
go.
I was just like, damn, the guy's
Yeah,
got chops. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we did that, and honestly, I think it's like it's in our top like five, I think, all time streams, which is crazy. So yeah, I mean that worked, and then we were just like, all right, cool. Let's see what else we can get away with, and we did like four, and then people were like, let's just, well, we'd love to hear an album, and so we were like, all right, cool. Well, we'll do that. So like over the past 4 years, we've done this album, and it's not like this is the new sound of Wage War. It's just something that we can do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just based off the like success of it so far, and even on this tour, obviously this is a Data Members tour, but it seems to be connecting pretty well with everyone. Um, so I would like to think that at least once like a record cycle, we can just for something different go do something like this, and you'll see Wage War maybe five times in the on the record cycle full band, and then maybe at the end of the year it's just like cool, we're going to come around and do smaller seated venues and play some acoustic stuff for the people that care. So it's been super
Careful,
cool,
those
man.
those venues might end up becoming much bigger.
Hey, that would be.
It's just,
We were talking. This is retirement. You know what I mean? This is
yeah.
like the Wage War that you see when you're like 50 or 60.
That's him right now.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
The funny thing is like we see like so many bands, that are similar to you guys, touch on the sort of softer stuff and change their direction and go a little bit sort of more melodic and all that sort of stuff. And the keyboard warriors are out in force, and you guys are
Oh
just
yeah.
back here like, because everyone's like, Wage War's acoustic shit is so sick.
Dude, that's yeah. I mean, it does not. It usually doesn't go without a little bit of fight on the internet, but it's been pretty good so far. Um,
If you're not getting
you know,
some
I'm,
backlash, you're not doing something right. If everyone's just accepting everything you're doing, it's all going
yeah,
to come crashing down. You want to have a bit of
like
controversy.
even the people that like aren't into it are just like love your heavy stuff, but this isn't for me. It's like I respect that, like, and we'll
Yeah.
still do both. So it's like if you like the heavy stuff, we got plenty more of that coming. And then if you like the softer stuff, like for me, I think that it's cool. I think that the stripped versions allow like the songs to kind of be so like kind of hear what goes behind the song and songwriting wise, like the lyrics stick
100%.
out more, the arrangements stick out more. Like we were talking with this industry night last night, New York City, all of radio team and management, booking agent. And someone came up to me and they were just like, I was watching your studies, like, and I realized that like 8 out of the 9 songs that you played are like pop structured songs. It's like you got your chorus, your pre-chorus and stuff. It's like, yeah, and then normally we'll dress it up heavy, you know what I mean? Like we'll put riffs and breakdowns and stuff in it. Like that's how we write songs. So I feel like this stripped album kind of gives it a chance to breathe and for people to be like, oh, like this is like actually just kind of like just a regular good song, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
necessarily like like hard to swallow in any way.
I saw an interview a while back with the one of the singer guitarists from 4 Year Strong, and it was when like they first did Enemy of the World, and he was like, yeah, so we had to do an acoustic thing, like a signing tour, and he's like, we realized we don't write songs like that, so doing a breakdown in an acoustic just doesn't work for us. And it was like a real like lesson for us in like, okay, cool, if we want to grow as a band, we have to actually put more consideration into the way we're writing it. So clearly that's something you guys are just doing fairly organically anyway, which is props to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of our songs have started on acoustic guitar and just kind of we'll kind of shift them in whatever way that we feel is best. People will be like, Death Roll acoustic, because we did this one like video over the
that was
summer.
him, 100% him.
Oh yeah, I've seen you. We did this like one video over the summer of us just like messing around a campfire, and we just thought it would be funny to do it. And then kids were like, "Damn, this is sick!" And I was like, "Dude, this is not sick, dude." But to kind of clear the air as soon as we get on stage in this tour, we open with Godspeed, which is like got some energy and stuff. And so I'll kind of, before I do this like joke, and it's not a stand-up, but I do have to throw some jokes in. But before we get any further in the set, I just go like, is anyone here like familiar with Wage War? And most of the crowd usually puts their hand up and whatever. And I was like, all right, this one's for you. And then I start playing. I go, and I start playing the Stitch riff, and then I get all the way to the end of it, and then I stop, and everyone just goes, "Back it up," and I'm just like, "There's no way that we're doing that." And
then it comes in like a real country bumpkin riff.
That's fucking awesome.
Like, it's kind of like a little like, just so they're not expecting the river later in the set kind of thing. But
totally,
in order to do that, we would just have to completely gut the song, and it would just be like an entirely different song. So that's why we didn't do those songs.
It doesn't become an acoustic; it becomes like a reimagining.
Yeah, you just make a whole different song at that point, which I'm not against, I guess.
Stay tuned for that tour, the reimagining tour. It's coming soon.
Yeah, we have the stripped and the reimagined tour.
I would imagine that sometimes with certain songs, say like Stitch and things like that, a reimagining could potentially be even harder than writing a new song, because everything you know about the song has to be disassembled and then reassembled to be completely different, but still resemble the actual song.
Yeah, 100%. It would be, and like, we've been playing that song for like 7 years. So thinking about like even just the vocal patterns, it's like trying to even like pay resemblance to the original one. Like we always joke, like everything that we do is always in the pop punk voice. So I was just like, I can't pretend like it's all part of the plan. So like we'll always like, that's how we like imagine stuff like that going. So we probably, exactly. So I don't know where we'll go with it, but I'm sure at some point that we'll do something that's like a little bit more reimagined, or maybe one that's unexpected. But for now, we kind of just did the ones that seem to naturally go the best.
The whole album flows so seamlessly. I put it on the other day for Court, my fiance, because she can't get down with the heavies. She gets anxiety at screaming. But we listened to the whole album, and she was like, "Oh, I really like this." And then I was like, "Would you like to hear what they're normally like?" Put on a few other songs. But she was like, "Oh, this is actually really, really nice," and like she can get down with it. And she said something that we've touched before with your rootin' tootin' cowboy boots, and which I love, by the way. And she was like, it has like a bit of a southern twang to a lot of the songs, which I think fits so well. And is that something that when you guys are writing songs, is that like an intentional thing, or is that just like how you've kind of found it easier to translate into acoustic?
I definitely think it's on purpose. A lot of us grew up, we're from Florida, just some good old boys. And obviously we love metal and that's what we grew up on in metalcore and stuff. But I feel like as we're getting older, we're still kind of like almost like looking back in a sense in music and just kind of like not even necessarily the things that I grew up on, but it's always been there. I used to reject country culture growing up, and I was just like, if it doesn't have riffs or screaming, like I don't want to hear it. But I was always raised around it, and I think as I've gotten older, I think for most of us, like we just kind of enjoy country. We enjoy the songwriting, enjoy the storytelling. There's like a lot of cool things I think in country. I realize that is a polar opposite thing uh metal, because I feel like most kids are like, oh, I'll listen to anything but country.
But
You know what I
country,
mean?
yeah.
So yeah.
We
But I
don't
don't know, I feel
really
like
have country in Australia.
Yeah, we do.
No, we don't. We've
y'all
got
got Keith
Australian
Urban.
country.
Keith
That's
Urban.
not country. That's not
Yeah,
in the same
that's
way
true.
you guys do. And I'm not dissing on Keith Urban,
Yeah.
but in the same way Americans do. It's just not as prolific a genre. I have quite a lot of friends that love country, but they're all American artists. And they're all just like the top five. Your Morgan Wallens, Waller?
Right.
What's his
Wallen.
name? Yeah, him.
Morgan
The
Wallen,
dude,
yeah.
the dude
Those
from
guys.
Yellowstone.
Sorry?
The dude from Yellowstone as well. Yeah, what's that? What's his name?
George Yellowstone?
Do you watch that show, Yellowstone?
I'm like 4 episodes in.
Like
I'm really late to it.
It's pretty good. You should give it a go.
Yeah, the really handsome dude. What's his name? I can't remember his
They're
name.
all handsome. Anyway, point is, it's not as big a thing. Like when you're saying, like going back to kind of the roots of where you came from and stuff, we don't have that as much. So it's really interesting to hear from you being like, that's kind of what I rejected growing up. I don't think we have that as much in Australia.
Yeah, and like we're not by any means going to turn into a country band, but I think that it's fun for us to kind of have these moments where we look back and just do something different. And I think you've got your like pop metal core where it's like all the R&B elements, and then you've got the like dubstep core stuff. And so this is just kind of something different. And like I said, we're not trying to go full root and tune, but I think even on our last record, like Never Say Goodbye, has like a really country feel just throughout. Like it's very acoustic guitar based, like the way the flows is like very Nashville, like it's very like kind of flowy and wordy. And so yeah, I think that we'll kind of keep chasing that down. And like I said, it's not like we're trying to be something that we're not. It's just kind of a cool little plug for us and way to do something different. And I think people are taking notice to it. So
keep it exciting, keep it fresh, like something different.
Making country accessible for the metal kids too.
Yeah, I want to hear you and your buddy Matty do like a country duo. That would be.
Oh, dude. Did y'all ever hear South on 65?
No.
Okay, so we did it.
What?
If you look up South on 65, and then I know y'all have the Hellions in Australia, but we have the Hillians because we're from Spring Hill, or we live in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We made an entire music video like right before the pandemic and put it out online, and we got the whole song's about like wearing Crocs and socks, and we got Crocs to like premiere it, and they sent us a bunch of free Crocs and stuff. So if you guys have some
that's a huge win for everyone.
How did we not know about that? He sent us this morning. I don't know if you saw, to the Nath and Johnny. Like he loves sending like things about Australian animals. It's just like this. It was this meme, not a meme, like a TikTok compilation thing of this person on their way to university. It's just just a kangaroo like hanging by the side of the road. More spiders. A snake being chased by a huge weird bird. Like boxing match. 2 kangaroos just fighting. Like.
You guys have been down under a fair few times. Have you had any encounters with the Australian wildlife?
Last time we were there was actually our last tour before the pandemic. You were
the last show I saw before the pandemic.
Really? Yeah, we were
Polaris and
like
Crystal Lake.
A week after we got home, the whole world shut down. So that was crazy. Yeah. But we went to where was it? I think it was in Brisbane. We went to some kind of like zoo or sanctuary or something, but we got the kangaroo pictures, we got the koala pictures.
You gotta do it.
Yeah, gotta do it. But as far as like the ones that kill you, I think we've stayed away from the deadly ones because I've heard everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
When you guys are back next time, we'll take you to the reptile park, which is like kind of in between
that sounds sick.
Sydney and Newcastle, and it's our like near our hometown, and they have all the dangerous things there, but in like a relatively safe way.
As long as there's no spiders, I'm chilling.
There's definitely
There's
spiders.
a lot of spiders.
There's a part of it
Okay.
called Spider World.
All right, y'all might have to blindfold me, or I'll bring like a towel to like wipe my sweat off my face or something like that. But I
You
do
can
not fare well with spiders.
So they've got like the funnel web spider in there, which is our big bad, and you can
Funnel
watch
web?
them. Funnel web, it's called the Sydney funnel web. Yeah, it's the
Ooh.
deadliest spider in the world. Doesn't really kill people anymore because they got like the anti-venom and stuff for it now.
Right.
But this is the place where they actually extract most of the venom from these spiders. Like they milk them to make the anti-venom, and you can actually watch them like in the little office thing, like milking the spiders. It's fucking wild.
Bruh.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
No.
Yeah, they're fucking horrible.
Yeah, I'm good on that. The other day, I have a pool at my house, and I have this thing I have to empty every day because it's fall and there's leaves everywhere.
Yeah.
And I like opened it up, and like I didn't even look down, but I put my hand on the handle, and there were 3 spiders on it, and I just about had a heart attack. It was insane.
Do you know what type of spiders they were?
After looking it up, I think it was called the common house spider, but in my mind, they were the most deadly thing of all time.
There was Gary, George, and Fred, and they were lovely people.
Yeah, they were just like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
They reckon that those ones can be pretty fucked for you though, because it's the same with our like black house spider, and because of the amount of like bugs and shit that they eat, roaches and stuff like that, they get like a lot of bacteria on their fangs, and that's actually what can cause you damage.
Like falling into a cactus.
Yeah. Oof.
There's a story behind there. Someone fell in a cactus and got infected.
My girlfriend fell into a cactus like a couple of days ago, and she was in hospital last night because it just won't get better. So
yeah.
So
when
that's
he says
fun.
fell, he means he pushed her into a cactus.
Yeah, she's home now. She's doing fine. But it got us thinking about like shit like Jackass and stuff, and those dudes where they just like jump into giant fucking cactus bushes.
Yeah.
That shit must fucking hurt, man.
Did you see the most recent one, the Jackass Forever?
Yeah.
I did not. No, everyone else did, but I skipped that movie day.
Those dudes are like 45, 50 years old now and doing stuff that I wouldn't have done when I was 20. I can't comprehend the level of like
stupidity,
lack of self-preservation in there. I care about me too much. Like,
yeah, it's I mean, obviously I've seen like the original ones and everything, but that takes a special amount of idiocracy, but also obviously it worked. It's like, hey, let's just do the most extreme things and hurt ourselves. And people love watching it, dude. Think about it. Yeah, all the way back to like funniest home videos, fail.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
people love seeing people get hurt. So
I follow heaps of pages like that, like kids getting hurt.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah.
Shouldn't laugh at it, but it's very funny.
Morons doing things. Amazing.
That's just Johnny TBD,
right? Have you had any crazy like injuries or anything like on stage? Anything? Because we were talking to like when we were at Good Things the other day. We were sitting down with Lee and Jordan from Bring Me the Horizon, and they were saying like the night before, like straight away their bass player just like slipped and fell off stage.
And the stage is high, man.
Yeah.
They've got like plinths, podiums. I'm talking probably like double this height, and apparently just fell straight in his back off the back of the riser.
Oh my goodness. I don't think anyone has fallen off stage yet. I slipped one time. We were playing like a really hot venue, and it's like tile floor. I was wearing those. You remember those like Nike Roosh runs or whatever they're
Roosh
called?
runs, yeah, I do remember those. No grip.
I was wearing no grip at all, and I went to jump, and I just went, and I like my wrist was like it was so weird. So that hurt really bad. I don't really know how I finished that. Does anyone else have a hurt story on stage?
Britton ate it really hard on 3 Days Grace.
Did he?
Yeah.
Apparently, Britton ate it really hard on our last American tour.
It was really bad.
Oh, on the riser. That's right. He went up, and like like the ego riser things.
Yeah.
His foot like leaned it back, and he went over it. I didn't see it, but it was crazy for sure.
The hard thing with that is obviously you've got the crowd watching everything you're doing. You're trying to entertain, but also maneuver around something. There's a lot of moving parts to go wrong there.
Yeah, there really is. We are by no means a fever or I'm trying to think of other bands that just
You're
go
not diving off in the
absolutely.
trash cans.
no one's that
No,
dude. Like,
I mean,
he's
I'd like to think that we go hard, but we definitely like stay in our spaces and try to riff out as good as we can. But yeah, I think those are the most were the worst injuries that we've had, and a couple of close calls with pyro, but we're good.
That's the
yeah,
one I always think about when you see those bands that like once they get to like a huge
like
level,
fucking Slipknot or Parkway or something.
and there's just like
Yeah.
40 jets, and you can feel it 30 meters back in the crowd. Imagine what it's like on stage.
Yeah.
Is that like terrifying?
It's very terrifying. So the first time we ever played with fire, we didn't get a rehearsal with it at all because it's like day of. It's also extremely expensive.
Yeah.
So like you don't really have, if you're gonna get it, you don't really want to spend all your money on the rehearsal of it. So I think it was a festival that we had in called Welcome to Rockville in Florida. And they lined them all up. This was like 6 a.m. We were headlining our stage. So they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna give you a test blast. We're like, okay. So they hit the button and it just goes, and I was like, all right, well, that's a little disappointing, but it's fine. And then we get on stage, and the first time they let off, they just go, and I was like, that was not the testing, but they have
You lied to me, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was literally the coolest feeling of all time. But they usually have the stage taped off, where it's like, just don't pass this line, and you're fine.
Keep out of
And
this
then
line.
The cannons in front of you have an exclamation point that will light up red when they're about to go off. But
Okay.
we almost lost a photographer last time we used pyro. So yeah, we need to get a little bit better with that. But it is
photographers though. You see them on stage, like they just run out and they're just like this. They're just like trying to get all the shots, and it's wild.
Granted, she got a great shot, so I'm not saying it's worth it, but it was. We ended up getting the shot.
In this case, it's worth it. The other one that gets me is, and maybe it's just a personal one. You know the ones where they have like sparkler or like they look like sparks just falling from the top.
Yeah, cold sparks.
That did you say cold sparks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not like hot to the touch or anything.
Oh, that's great.
How do they do
Tell
that
me more
then?
about that.
We've never done it, but we have a lot of friends that have. Have you ever used I know y'all have 4th of July over there, but do you guys ever use sparklers or anything?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. Like if you light a sparkler, obviously at the source it's hot, but if you put your hand right here, there's no heat there, so it's like the same kind of thing.
Oh, I always thought that because like you see guys like walking through them, I'm like, those tough motherfuckers. But no, they're cold. They're not just tough.
It's the Fast and Furious entrance.
100%.
Like
yeah.
in the on the auto mechanic shop where you just see the sparks fly everywhere.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Well, I won't let that secret out because I think they look super tough when they do it. So
I think we're gonna do it soon. We just usually when we like allocate budgets, it's like, would you guys rather have fire or a little cold spark shower? Just like fire the whole time for sure. So.
Yeah,
that's just boys with fire. That's as you said, your country roots. I want to light shit and fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow it up.
We have a little smoker out there, some meat on top of it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
God, now we're talking.
It's mid-set snacks.
Yeah, I'm sure that whatever they're lighting that with is not good for the meat though, so maybe not. It could just be poison meat.
Yeah.
Is it hard to sort of like when you're planning for a tour and that, especially like a headlining tour, just sort of factor all that stuff in and just what are we going to do this time? Because I would assume you've always got to be sort of like, well, it's a bigger tour, like we're a bigger band than we were last album cycle. What are we going to do this tour to step it up just that little bit?
Yeah,
but obviously you got to be like budget conscious and all that sort of stuff. Dude,
it's hard and it's insane. It's like I was talking about this with someone the other day. I feel like other than like pop music, like as a whole, I feel like there's this crazy pressure in like metal and metalcore to have like a lot of production that most other, like country and like indie bands and stuff like that, like they can just go on stage, pull their amps out and play the exact same venues that we do, and the fans are so stoked. But if you're a metalcore band and you don't have 3 LED walls, a full floor package, CO2 cannons, and LED bars, like kids are like, I don't know, show is kind of lame. Like,
they didn't put on performance.
I feel like there's this, I feel like there's a little bit of an unfair pressure there, and it also depends on where you start. Like our first light package ever was just like 4 little LED bars on the floor, and we thought that was cool. And then now we're up to taking out multiple light carts and risers and stuff like that. So as we plan for like next tours, like the LED wall is the thing right now. Like everybody's got one, and if you don't have one, it feels like you got left behind. And then you got the like, well, how do I use that creatively? Because I don't want to have, just our music videos playing on there. Do you have like unique content for every song? That's expensive, and then stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely like a give and take of. I mean, even for this tour, the acoustic tour, like we could have very well just bought a couple stools and got up there and ripped it, but we have an entire riser thing of like Steven up top, two other ones, me and Britton up front. We have 3 light carts, like a bunch of movers on the floor, and like even though they're not strobing like normal, like you just want to create something that people are an experience or a show.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So
does any of that come
like,
into like a also social content sharing? Does that come into like play when you're thinking about it, being like, what's this going to look like on the internet? How are people going to share this?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Trying to build stuff that looks good in pictures and stuff like that, and video. Obviously, content is king right now, so trying to get as much as we can, and then obviously when we get something cool like that, maximize it. The 2 times we've ever played with fire, we have enough pictures to spread out for 3 years, because every time it's like picture, video. You know what I mean? So
just burst it the whole time, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one long exposure shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we try to ride that line. Like, obviously we want to be able to like survive and, do only this for a living, but we also want to put on a good show. So, yeah, it's kind of finding that line every time. And some bands spend all of their money on production and have a sick show, and other bands don't spend a lot and bet on like the music side. So it's all over the place, but I feel like we try to find the line of putting on a good show, but still, being able to do this as a job.
Yeah, for sure.
You are about to play the biggest set of your life. You got all the production. Who are you bringing out with you? Who's supporting? Who's your band you'd like to tour with most?
Well, it's hard to say supporting, because obviously there's always different levels of bands and stuff. So
you can say Slipknot as support if you want. You can say whatever you want.
You get to headline.
All right.
Purely hypothetical.
Yeah.
All right, hypothetically, and I'm not saying that we need to play above any of these bands, but we did love touring with Slipknot. We love Polaris so much. We love those boys so much. So anytime we get to play a show with them, would be awesome. Beartooth, another one of our really great friends. And then we just toured with the Devil Wears Prada, and ended up just becoming great friends with them. So, and then Metallica, I'll throw that in there. It's a big bill.
Oh, that would be a sick bill.
It's a festival bill, but
what are your thoughts on the new Metallica song?
I love it.
Same.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
I've seen heaps of hate on that video, but I really like it.
Yeah, I think it's great. Honestly, like, I think that those are some of the best like vocal melodies that they've had in a while. Like, there's a lot of like catchy stuff in it, and it reminds me of Bullet for My Valentine, which I think it's just kind of just the drum groove of like, it's like the Waking the Demon thing. I always associate that drumming like pattern with Bullet for My Valentine. But yeah, I thought it was great.
I've seen so many comments well being like, he doesn't have the same ferocity in his voice. Yeah, he's 60, motherfucker.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that now. That's like your voice grows with you.
It's almost like some people on the internet try and say the stupidest thing they can.
Whereas you wait until you're in real life.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, the internet is the craziest place of all time. Like
I've made a career in it.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I'm like, why there?
We were talking about where memes originated the other day, like back to like the troll faces or whatever. Like that was like the first generation of memes, and now like it's a full style of communication. Like I don't even send responses anymore. I send memes.
100%. My business partner and I regularly will have a conversation based entirely on like just GIFs. Yeah. Just dumb stuff and then trying to, and it's pretty fun getting creative with it.
Yeah, and then just the things that people make these days, and it's like, I shouldn't laugh at this, but it is absolutely hilarious. So there's people that are behind every single meme that we have all seen, that we have died laughing and been like, I shouldn't be laughing at this. Somebody's brain thought of that.
Yeah,
like part. And you're right. Like some of them, you're like, oh, I shouldn't laugh at that, but it is funny. It's like when there was it was a while back, and there was like the little person that jumped off the boat, and then you heard the like as they hit the water, it was the
yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh God, I'm going to hell.
And so,
Yeah.
and then somebody sat there and like put time into like chopping that up and getting the sound and stuff. So
You could just imagine them just sitting there, just laughing their ass off doing it as well.
I wonder when you're doing that, being
Yeah.
like, am I going to get cancelled for this? You have
I
to be
think my
fairly like anonymous to do that, I think.
I think my favorite thing, and I'm sure that you guys have experienced this as well, but my favorite thing is when I read things on the internet about myself that aren't true at all. And it's like people like talk about my life as if like they know what happened and it like
Yeah.
has nothing to do. It's like, well, Cody actually worked on this and went here with that person. I was like, I didn't have anything to do with this. And it's like, I love how people will just kind of come in and like make up their own narrative as fact. People will be like, oh, dude, I didn't know that. It's like, it's because he doesn't know that. Like,
Have you found a rumor or one of these Cody facts that's been your favorite?
There's like I do a lot of like outside writing like for other bands.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that a lot, but I'll like people will come in and try to like say how the whole thing happened and it'll be like, oh, like I don't even know a specific, but somebody like will just be like, oh yeah, like Cody flew out to LA and worked on this song with so and so, and I was like, brother bear, I did not do that at all. Or like or like songs I didn't even work on. I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure, Cody Quistad was there because they were on tour one time and I'm sure they did this in the bus. And I was just like, we didn't. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
it's just
that's
funny.
at least that's all fairly positive flattery there. It's
Yeah,
not just like,
it's never too bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
they'd written the song, but Cody came in and like he's a real like prima donna, and he said, "No, this sucks. You got to do it this way."
And now the song
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, basically. I mean, I've seen people say that I've ruined songs before, so that's fine.
Really?
Yeah,
Jeez.
as I said, that's the internet.
Mainly for my own band. They'll be like,
It's just
I'll be
Britain.
like,
Yeah.
wrote the song.
Have you
I'll be like, good.
is there any song that you've worked on with someone? Because I was thinking about this before actually, and that you've like written for another band or been a part of writing and gone, fuck man, I wish I kept that for us.
Honestly, yeah, a lot of them. I really Miracle by A Day to Remember, and that wasn't that was a co-write between me and Jeremy and I think Will Putney was involved, Kevin. There was like 3 or 4 people, but we got to the end of that song and I was like, this is pretty sick. But obviously it's a Day to Remember song, so that's totally cool with me. But
When we did that song, I said, I was like, oh, well, you can hear Cody in this. Like you can fully hear your influence, and it does have very you feeling to it. So I can understand that one.
Yeah, we had I had that demo that I had submitted for another band that I was working with, and it never got used. And over the pandemic, me and Jeremy got together and Kevin got together and started writing. And like the first 2 days were like, like nothing had happened. And then I was like, well, I got this. And it clicked. It was like, and the riff came in and stuff. And Jeremy's like, what is that? I was like, it's just this demo that I have. And then he's like, all right, we're writing over that. And so that was literally how that song came about. And we worked on it for a while. So, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, that's probably the closest one I would say that I feel like is something that I would like to have for ourselves. But I'm glad that they have it. So
you guys can cover it.
Yeah, literally.
It's always interesting when you hear those ones that like the artist that you know so well, like Wrecking Ball. We talked about this one, Wrecking Ball, Miley Cyrus. Everyone's like, yeah, that song was originally offered to Beyonce, and she turned it down and was like, oh, it's not for me. And I'm always interested to hear those ones where a song's written, being like, oh, imagine if this artist had done it, whether it would have had the same impact there. So,
well, the big one is Crazy Town Butterfly was a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
I can hear that too.
Yeah,
that sounds like a Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now I've never thought about that, but that sounds like a Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And it turned out to be Crazy Town's biggest / only song.
No, they had another song. I just don't know what it was called.
Must have been huge.
Yeah.
Is it insane that I don't know who Crazy Town is?
Oh, really?
Wait, how old are you?
29.
Yeah, you might be too young.
Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Yeah, that was a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
That was a really good rendition.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you need to put up a cover of that.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it.
Johnny New Metal need him. Yeah. But yeah, that I can definitely hear that being as a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. So
Yeah, the
I
bass
understand that
line
one.
mostly. But now we're gonna ask you some fun stuff. But before that,
Okay.
I've got to ask, is there, if you're allowed to say, or if you're allowed to hint at, any plans to come back down and hang?
Yes, there are not currently concrete plans, but we've already had stuff that we've been looking at and offers come through and stuff. So far, we haven't had the one that will work, just with timing and everything, just planning out next year. But I'm fairly certain that we will be in Australia next year for sure.
We would like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Go and look at
I
the
would like that
spiders.
too if you could I would like that too if you could put me out for the flight. That would be great. Just a little.
We've said this, and this is like a pipeline thing for us. I want to do like the Breakdown Presents and put on some sort of tour. You guys might be too big for it. We don't know if we can afford you, but I want to do. I feel like some of the smaller bands that we've like actually like helped discover through the channel. I'd love to be able to like produce some sort of tour and bring people out. That'd be
awesome. I do love. I think you guys said it, but I love the idea of doing like a acoustic thing or something next time we come through.
Yeah.
Something exclusive for you guys, whether we do it like small venue, coffee shop, or
Yeah,
whatever. Like
we
I
did.
love
We
that
did
idea.
mention it. Yeah, and that's. I was going to ask you about that. Like, if you came out and did the tour, would it be kind of a way to make it, even more financially viable to do smaller, more intimate shows?
Yeah.
Cool little venues. Just get people in there, bit of a chill vibe. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to do that. I think we normally have been doing we'll do like a VIP, and normally we do acoustic songs for that. But obviously, we can't do that on the acoustic tour. So we're pretty used to doing acoustic
They're
stuff all the time.
super acoustic. This is
But
acapella.
we talked about flipping it around the other way and doing getting like an electric drum kit and like line 6 spider amps and playing full band, but like I'm like really poor quality in a really poor quality setting. This is like for the acoustic VIP. It'd be so funny.
I feel like people would still be so stoked on that. Honestly, I feel like people would be like, because it's for them. It's intimate. Like it does, regardless of what the quality of it sounds like for you, for your perspective. People still getting something there that it's for them. That's a cool thing.
Trivium do something kind of similar. I don't know if you follow them on socials, but they
do like a full sound check, right?
Yeah,
like a warm up room
in like a jam room, and they've got like fans in there. They call it the pig pen or something, and like he's just got like the Roland kit and like. And the fans are just all standing around them while they warm up and jam. Yeah, it's really fucking cool little idea.
You can steal that.
We would have to actually warm up for that to be a thing, though.
The warm up.
I think my vocal warm up is I just literally scream the highest note I have to get, which is normally in low, or just like, and I was like, okay, got it.
Yeah, that's funny because I was literally about to say like the local band warm up is like you hear the vocalist backstage just going, ah! 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 All right, I'm ready to go.
Steve will just put his drumsticks in his hands and do this.
Oh, yes.
Seth will play like one scale. Britton will go, and then and Chris doesn't even warm up. So wherever he's at, he's on it here. I'm safe. So yeah, we're probably the worst at warming up. So maybe we'll get better though. One of these days.
I feel if you're touring enough and you're playing enough, you don't need to because you're that conditioned.
Well, even before this tour, like me and I looked at Brendan and I was like, bro, because we have vocal warm up regimens, we have like, like respirator or not respirator, like nebulizer stuff to like keep our vocal cords good. I was like, Brendan, we got to warm up every day, bro. Let's do our full. We have like a 45-minute warm up. Starts with jumping jacks, a bunch of different vowels, a bunch of different stuff. We haven't done it one day. So I'm just like, dude, we got to get better, man. We got to get some longevity out of this, especially on a year when we're playing 130 or 40 shows or whatever.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like, oh, the shows are going well, so who gives a fuck? But then it'll be like the one day when you have a bad show and the flow and effect of another sort of bad show, and you're just like, fuck, man, this is when we should have
done those jumping jacks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a couple times I should have warmed up on the store straight up.
That's okay. All right, let's run through. I've got some quick fire would you rathers.
Oh,
no thinking, straight answers. So start things off. Do you want to do one for one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep him guessing.
Metallica or Megadeth?
Metallica.
Movies or TV series?
Movies.
Beach or snow?
I'm gonna have to go snow because I'm fair skinned, so me and the sun don't get along very well.
Ferrari or Lamborghini?
I don't really know. I'm not really a car guy, but I'll go
All
Ferrari
right.
or Lamborghini.
Yeah, you can phone a friend.
Lambo.
Okay.
What about sports car or truck?
Oh, truck all the way.
Come
on, man. Look at-
truck
I got
than
boots on, bro. I'm wearing mossy oak camo.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Yeah.
Hey, the Beatles or the Stones?
I have the hottest take on the Beatles of all time.
Oh,
But,
let's hear it.
No, let's we're
Let's
pausing the
hear
game.
it. Yeah, fuck
Tell us
the
that.
answer. Let's hear it.
okay, well, this is gonna get me canceled for sure. I'm not. No, I'm not a very big Beatles fan. It's not that I think that they suck. I don't really care for the Beatles. So I guess
You know what? I was the same until I watched a documentary.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called. If I find, I'll text it to you. It fully changed my perspective on them. Like I always knew they were like prolific and they influenced so many people and stuff, but I hadn't realized and just didn't comprehend how much time and effort and thought went into their craft and just what game changers they were. It's still not a band I'd listen to heavily myself all the time.
Mm-mm.
Like we're talking to Sam from Architects, and he's like, yeah, that's just my most played band all the time. That's not me in the slightest, but it did give me a new appreciation for them.
Yeah, and I do appreciate it. I think Yesterday is a phenomenal song. There's so many great songs, but it has just never been for me. And I always feel weird because that's everyone's like, oh, the Beatles, man. And I'm just like, it doesn't really do much for me. But I do believe that they are highly influential in even the music that we are currently playing. So I just am not a Beatles guy.
I think that they have a lot of filler as well. Like they got a lot of like nothing songs that I would listen to and go,
who's your Beatles?
Who's my Beatles? I don't know, honestly. Let me circle back to that.
Okay, who's your Beatles?
For me, probably Kiss, to be honest.
Okay.
Just because like I was brought up on them like with my parents, and I think the whole like one of the first rock and roll bands I really paid attention to was so grandiose, like with the makeup and the costumes and the stage show. I was just like, oh, and then the more you like got into other bands and realized that that's not the norm.
Yeah.
Like you sort of respect it more because you're like, oh, they turned this into something way more than rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, probably for me. So yeah. Next one then.
I don't get to answer this question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You're the worst. There's a continuation of this channel, which is Johnny answers for 5 minutes and goes, all right, moving on.
It's yours. Let me try and guess.
You can never get it either.
I'm gonna guess that was a band you listened to a lot with your dad.
Yep.
Is it?
This is the content you want. Him just sitting silently guessing.
Is it Guns N' Roses or Pink Floyd?
No. Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Zeppelin influenced so much metal, and that was a band that for me like still has like super good pop sensibilities. They were so creative and so out there with some of the stuff, but also heavy as fuck for the time.
Yeah, they had some fucking crushing riffs.
Yeah. The Clash or the Sex Pistols?
I don't know either of those bands. I know who they are, but I don't know.
It seems to be more and more common for a lot of like, we've asked it for punches. People are like, just don't really listen to either of them. Whereas
that's like punk, right? Like true punk stuff.
Yeah.
The
Clash was like that London Calling
I kind
song.
of missed the whole punk thing.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Again, no hate, but
that's the correct answer was the Clash, just in case you're wondering.
Okay.
So
the Clash.
Yeah. Pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Donut or ice cream?
Donut.
Board games? You hate ice? What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't.
End the call. Oh man, we're out. Done. I'm out. What do you mean you hate ice cream?
It's just not for me. I take like if I'm ever feeling crazy and I like get ice cream because like all my other guys love ice cream, but I'll take a bite and be like, anybody want this? It's just not for me, dude. I
You know
love
what?
baked goods. I'm in,
My
but
silver lining here is I get more ice cream when we hang out. That's the way I'm going to bring this back
okay,
around. So we
yeah.
stay friends.
If y'all are taking me to ice cream, y'all are getting some more ice cream than what you ordered.
He's just get like a waffle cone. He's like, you eat the ice cream, I'll just take the cone.
Honestly, that's me to a T for sure.
All right, board games or video games?
Not big on both, but we do play a lot of Mario Kart, so video games.
It's a fun one too for like a group atmo. I get that.
We go very, very hard. We have a wrestling belt.
Oh,
we
shit.
play for every tour. We did a 6-hour tour 6-hour tournament last tour.
Wow.
I am the current holder of the belt. Just saying. But
No big
we
deal.
play 200cc, and we were talking about the other day, like anyone that's ever played with us be like, "Oh, bro, I'm gonna whoop you," and like they jump on with us, and we're like, we were way too serious with it. So we're out here just delivering sentences out here.
I kind of want to play. I'm a terrible, terrible gamer, but I would like to play just to see just how bad I am compared to you guys.
Yeah, we'll set it up. Guaranteed, we'll have it with us.
Fall Out Boy or Panic at the Disco?
Probably Panic at the Disco.
Cool.
Early record for me.
Yeah.
Reality TV or sitcoms?
Sitcom probably.
Apple Music or Spotify?
Spotify.
Mexican or Italian? The food, not the people. You can answer both if you want, but
Mexican food.
Sweet.
Horror or comedy?
Comedy. God, it's killing me.
You know what? When you first said that one too, I just didn't think about when we wrote that down. I was like, yeah, cool. Mexican or Italian.
What band we asked? Like, it was one of the bands we asked on at the Good Things. They're just like, you mean the food, right? It's just like, yeah.
I was like, where's this going?
Sleep-ins or early risers?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm like a 8 a.m.-ish guy, so probably early-ish riser.
Cool.
That's a sleep in for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a sleep in for me as well.
It's not even 8 a.m.
so,
yet here.
yeah.
It's 7:15 right now.
I'm sorry for making y'all get up early.
Oh, we're used to it, dude. It's all good.
It's fine, yeah. Calling or texting?
I probably text more, but I like calling, I think, more.
Yeah, I definitely text more, but I like a good call.
I'm a
Yeah,
texter.
same.
Yeah, no, fuck, you're a texty boy.
Only because, like, I know if I get on a call with someone, like, I can't end it. You know what I mean? Hang up. I don't want to hang up on someone. Chino from Deftones threw a curveball and said he likes to FaceTime because people aren't expecting it.
I always FaceTime everybody. Like if I have to call most of the time, if the immediate circle of people, like I don't think I've ever called like Maddie on the phone or like anybody like that. It's always FaceTime.
Yeah.
Every time.
Okay.
I like that.
Even if it's just like, hey, where you at? Like if we're going to dinner or something, like I'm always FaceTiming. I FaceTime them all the time. Like that's my preferred
Nice.
form of communication as well.
It feels like kind of futuristic too. I remember like thinking like 15 years ago, being like, yeah, you just see the person you're talking to straight away. That's pretty cool. We take it for granted.
In real time.
Yeah, fully. Blink-182 or Green Day?
Blink, for sure.
My Chemical Romance or The Used?
My Chem.
Okay, nice.
You're going on a holiday. Are you road tripping or flying?
Road tripping. I hate flying.
Do you? It like a fear of flying thing, or just bored of it?
It's not necessarily a fear of flying. I think it's more of like a claustrophobia thing. Like I don't like things that I can't get out of. You know what I mean? So being in an aluminum tube for, in our case, 13 to 14 hours to get to Australia is not my favorite thing. But I mean, I still, it's like a major part of our job, so I still do it all the time. But I do prefer to be on the ground and at sea level. For sure.
So, when you guys do Australia, do you drive or were you flying between? Because it's like Australia kind of, for the most part, have to fly unless you have
we
time between
flew
days.
last time we did. The first time we did it with Make Them Suffer, we drove, and it was hell.
It's a they're long drives.
Such long drives and like back-to-back shows. But we flew last time, and honestly, like frequency makes it better. Like by the time we had done Australia and I've done a flight every single day, it was just like going home was cake. So it's just kind of a frequency thing for me. You get one out of the way and you're like, oh, this is fine. So
that's one of the things we would like you to think about. We're trying to be considerate here, is when you come to Australia, give yourself time in between shows. Don't book yourself back to back.
Yeah, next time we're going, I think we're gonna like stay a week after. Like it's almost too short to do that flight like back to back. You know what I mean? Like you need to be there a good 2 or 3 weeks for it to make sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say, surely you try and give yourself a day off after you get there at least. Like,
oh yeah, the first time we came there, we didn't have a day off, and we all felt like delirious. It was crazy, and we were supposed to have a double show that night. We were supposed to play. I don't remember what city we were in. But
like an all ages show and then a 18+ show.
Yes. Yeah, and it's supposed to be at this club called Bang or something like that. I don't know where that is in Australia, but we were supposed to do a double show, and thankfully we didn't do the double show. But I just remember looking at everyone before we went on stage, and everyone's like twitching and like looking crazy. But yeah, I do believe that we'll spend more time, because once we're in Australia, we all love it. Like we love the people, the sites. Like there's just so much to do. But yeah, it's the getting over there, it's the gear, it's all of the headaches. But I do see us spending more time there next time we go for sure.
You guys are kind of like a bit more nature than city in terms of like personalities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we like outdoor stuff.
I can't imagine you would have had enough time in between, because like in the cities you don't get that much nature. You got to get out,
right?
So it'd be hard to get out and see that, because that's the thing that Australia does best, is like our national parks and stuff are so pretty. But
yeah, we've never done any of that.
All right.
It's always just been,
I'll book that in for Sydney.
Show and hotel. Okay.
Yeah, there's heaps of stuff around here for sure. So we're gonna ask the hard one now, right? And you can ask anyone else who's in the room as well if they want to give their answer.
Okay.
So this is the divisive one. All right. You're gonna go on stage, perfectly dry. You're about to play the biggest headline show.
No, you're about to go on and do an acoustic.
Oh, an
set.
acoustic.
Yeah.
Oh, because sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This current tour.
Okay.
Yeah. Last show of the tour. You're perfectly dry, but you have to go on stage putting on either cold, wet socks or cold, wet underwear. What do you choose?
Underwear. Yeah.
I don't think it's divisive. Everyone's going underwear now because everyone's an idiot.
Dude, wet socks are like, it's like a huge pet peeve for me.
I think that seems to be something for a lot of people,
because you can feel the like water sponge when you take a step, and I would much rather just put on cold wet underwear and do that. You guys want to answer that? You're going to play a set on stage. Would you rather wear cold wet underwear or cold wet socks?
Cold wet underwear.
Seth says cold wet underwear. Steven says cold wet underwear.
Damn.
So we Americans love our cold wet underwear.
Apparently so. I'm worried about chafing. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, I don't want to chafe up my thighs.
Yeah. So we shot a music video for Gravity that was in the rain, but we just obviously made fake rain or whatever. But we did it in January, which is like one of the colder months here.
Yeah.
And so it was like 30, like high 20s, low 30s outside when we were shooting it. And for I don't know what that is for you guys, but super cold. And we would shoot our parts and then take off our clothes and put dry clothes back on and try to dry them off outside in the freezing cold. And because we didn't have any heat, and then we would have to put them back on for our set or our shoot, and it was probably the most miserable we have ever been, I would say.
That's like in Australia, it's like surfing in winter. Like you leave your wetsuit out and it just gets cold and wet in the next morning. You go for an early surf, you've got to put like skin tight. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
But
yeah, it's not a good time. Not a good time at all.
That's self-inflicted pain.
Yeah.
Dude, thanks so much for coming to hang out. We love you.
We
love you guys.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we love y'all too. I remember I think the first video I remember seeing of you guys is when you did Teeth, and the second verse kicked in and you both started doing this over the like 4 on the floor beat, and I literally just started rolling. So thank you guys for always being so kind to us and reviewing our stuff, and we appreciate what you guys do. And hopefully next time we come to Australia, we get to hang with y'all and
We'll make
go
sure.
do some nature things or put on some cold blood underwear or, whatever we do.
We'll do the nature thing. I'll you guys can do the underwear thing. I'll hang out by myself.
Hey, tee up to bring Maddie and the boys out here. Co-headline tour in Australia. That's what I'm talking about. Because it's been a hot minute since they've been out here as well. So
I would love that. That's a great idea, actually. We've never, Matt and I lived next to each other the last like 4 or 5 years and become
you mentioned
but
that.
we never really had like even festivals, like every festival setup we've ever had, we're either on different days or the one festival we were on the same day. Their set got canceled because of rain. So Shiprocked, which is the cruise in January, we are both on, which will be the first time that our bands like actually get to play together. So
nice.
We're excited for that. And I know that if we tour together, it would be, I feel like I might not come back from it if we tour together, but we'll find out.
You guys would honestly you guys together would crush it out here.
I'm sure that it'll happen. It's
because we can see like even just from our perspective, like with what we do, like the reception that you both get from Australian fans is very, very good and very positive. So well done on that. And if it happens, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, I'll hit his line right now.
Beautiful.
And have fun the rest of this tour. We hopefully can see some of this when you get down. But yeah, and a huge congratulations on the Stripped album because it is phenomenal. You guys have done another great thing. So
thank you guys so much for having me.
Thanks, dude. Our pleasure.
Talk soon.
Yeah, we'll see you.